It is your Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That is brand new stuff from Axel Rudi Pell from the BALLADS V release. That is called When Truth Hurts. And here's a guy that's going to give us the truth right now. It is the legendary guitarist and the namesake. It's Axel Rudi Pell. Axel, how are you, man?
I'm great, thank you. I hope you're great, too.
Oh, absolutely, man. It can't be a bad thing when I've got brand new Axel Rudi Pell music in my hands now, can it?
That's the right thing, yes, absolutely.
Well, Axel, I got to tell you, man, I am a huge fan of ballads, and I love this series that you're doing. I love all 5 of them. I think you might be on to the best one yet with this one, so congratulations to start right off the bat.
Thank you very much, sir. I have the same opinion.
Sure. Now, what is it with you, Axel, about doing these ballads? Is this just a change-up that you need every so often from doing harder rock material, or is it just music that you like, or is it just a challenge?
You know, it's nothing, you know. So what really happened was, it was a couple of years ago, I think it was way back in 1993 when we did the first ballad records, you know, because the thing behind it was there are several friends of mine who are not so involved into hard rock or heavy metal music. So let me say that they don't like it that much, you know. But then I always give them a CD and say, listen to it. They say, wow, that's cool. It's not our kind of music, but, you know, you write fucking great ballads. Sorry for the fucking thing. Fucking great ballads. You know, we really love them. Why don't you put out a record with only ballads on it? I think it might be a good idea because, you know, I personally like ballads a lot too. So that was the story behind the first ballad record we put out. You know, it was just an experiment to see, oh, is it okay for other people? Maybe you get some more audiences with that. So we found out that it turned out really great. You know, it was the best sold ARP record till the first one in 1998, the first one with Johnny actually on vocals, you know. Mm-hmm. And we said, wow, that's brilliant, you know. So, and then we continued, and now we have number 5. And it's absolutely amazing.
Sure. Now with this one, Axel, one of the things that you did, you know, that's getting a lot of attention is you obviously worked with famed 80s vocalist Bonnie Tyler on Love's Holding On. You know, a lot of people didn't even know she was still recording, you know, honestly. How did that song come about, and how did you end up contacting her and working with her on the song?
You know, I had a brainstorm with me, myself, and I. So Axel, Rudi, and Pell, both three sitting together. I said, "Well, I think it's about time to have some kind of collaboration with a female duet partner of Johnny, of course. You know, we say maybe that might be a good idea because we'd never had it on a record before, on any record before. So I sit down and I say, well, that voice has to be fit to Johnny's vocals perfectly, you know. So and I thought about the first idea I had to say, wow, Bonnie Tyler, I know her from the 70s, from the 80s. She was she is a huge star, you know. She did so many records, and I said maybe it's a good idea. Maybe I can get in touch with her. So I got the email address of her manager, you know, Matt Davis is his name. So I wrote him an email and I said, hey, listen, blah, 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 I want to record a duet for ARP, a ballad thing. What about Bonnie Tyler? Is she available? She would like to do it. Is she still recording or anything? Is she still available? And then I got a reply the next day. Yes, he said he mentioned it to Bonnie Tyler, and she said the only thing what's in her mind is she would like to do it when she loves the song. If she don't like the song, she would never do anything. I said, okay. So I send you the song, but I have to record the song first. It's not written yet. And then I got no reply. The guy must think, what a crazy motherfucker, because he asked for Bonnie Tyler and the song isn't done. You know, he said, this is a crazy guy. So I actually wrote that song. Of course, I had the melody and everything way in my mind, you know. So I make a demo from that. Johnny did all the recordings, all the vocals, also the female parts. And I think it was 1.5 weeks or 2 weeks later, there was a show near my hometown where Bonnie Tyler was on stage. So it was a kind of best of greatest hits tour. And I went to that show, and I gave her my demo of the track, and she said, oh, I'll listen to it, and my manager will let you know. So I thought about, okay, maybe it will take another 2 or 3 weeks to get a reply. But luckily, the next day I got an email from Matt, her manager, and I said, Bonnie really loves the song, she wants to do it, when should we record it? You know, that was the story then, yeah.
Wow. And so you didn't know her at all prior to this. It was just one of those, you had a vision and she kind of agreed with it, right?
That's right, absolutely. I never met her in person before the actual show at the end of, what was it, in November 2016. I knew her, from the records, but I never met her in person. That was really the first time. She was really quite nice.
Oh, excellent. So was she familiar at all with what you've been doing for the last, 25, 30 years?
Nothing at all. Nothing at all. So what I did was, she said, Axel, who the fuck is Axel Rudi Pell? I never heard of him. So I sent them, when I got in contact with our manager, I sent a YouTube link of our track Hallelujah, which we did a couple of years ago, the cover version, and he actually saw it. Oh, over 4 million or 5 million clicks. It mustn't be that bad, that guy. So maybe that helped a bit.
Sure, definitely. Well, Axel, another tune on the new one, and it's not new to you. It was on one of the more recent records. Is the cover of "Hey Hey My My," which I have to tell you is without question my favorite cover of anybody of all time. The arrangement, especially that you did with this, is very haunting and very different than the original, which makes it gives it its own life. What was it about that song that lured you in, and specifically, how did you come up with the arrangement for this song? Because it is very different from the original.
That's right, absolutely. First, I have to say thank you very much. I absolutely agree. So I really love that track too. He was. This thing is. Let me say that right way. When I have a really good song, which from any other artist, which I like. Sometimes I think you can't cover it because the original is top notch. You can't put anything in it. So anything. So hey, my, it's stuck in my head for a couple of years since it came out in the 70s. Was it 80s? No, it was 70s, I think. Mm-hmm. And still it was there somewhere in my head. At one point I said, well, maybe it's a good idea to do a cover version, but the arrangement, that's a difficult thing about doing a cover version. Normally when you cover a song one-to-one, when you don't change anything, it's boring for me, because it's already there in that way. So I said, no, we have to change it, And then I watched the TV series Sons of Anarchy, which is very popular, was very popular in the U.S. too, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, and I thought, and I heard it, there was some kind of piano version on it, and only a guy singing, no other instrument, only a piano and a guy singing it. I say, well, that's actually not a bad idea to make a piano version out of it. Of course, then with a different arrangement, ARP style, with adding hard, heavy rhythm guitars on it, Johnny's great vocals, and blah blah blah. So we changed it a little bit around. So, and yeah, it came up like this, and I really love it.
It's definitely cool, and you're right, especially about Johnny's vocals on it. Are not that there's ever a time that Johnny doesn't sound really good, but wow, he puts on a vocal probably unlike anything that he's done on anything.
That's right. Yes, I love it too.
Oh, it's definitely great, man. Well, Axel, as a listener, pulling away, and I'll look for an opinion from you. But as somebody that just listens to music, I like I told you at the beginning, I love listening to ballads, but for me they have to have a time and a place or a mood or whatever. I love listening to ballads at the same time I love to listen to fast and heavy music. For you, who's in the process of writing music, do you have to take yourself out of the mindset to record fast to do ballads, or are you more fluid to where it doesn't feel any different when you create? Or because I have to imagine that going from like Game of Sins and those songs to ballads has to be a completely different process for you.
Exactly, but what's happening? Actually, when I sit down, I can't sit down and have to write ballads. I can't say to myself, now I have to write a ballad or two or three or anything.
Okay.
It wouldn't work that way. So what I'm doing, with all the other regular studio albums too, I sit down, pick up the guitar and play something. Sometime it happens that I actually say, wow, this is a great riff or this is a great melody, and I soon press on the voice recorder on my cell phone, and I record it, because 10 minutes later it might be out of the brain,
Right.
So, I'm collecting this kind of little snippets and ideas all over the year. It doesn't matter if I'm in the writing process or not. sometimes it actually happening when I go to the grocery store and buying some, I don't know, some meat, you know.
Right.
And sometimes a melody comes to my mind, and I suddenly, wow, that's great. Put on my cell phone, press on the voice recorder. Some people are staring at me. What is this stupid motherfucker doing there? You know, but I don't give a shit about that. So I'm always recording these little ideas. And then I sit down at some point and say, okay, I have idea number 173 fits perfectly to idea number, let's say, 86 or something. And I put it together. And I sit down with my digital recording machine in my working room, and I really make the arrangement of that song and really doing the right composition. Yeah.
Sure. Now, how do you...
I'm not writing ballads all the time, and I'm not writing fast tracks. You know, I'm writing everything.
Right. How do you remember where those riffs are? Because if you're like me, I can't remember yesterday, let alone, you know, a year's worth of material that I might have written.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But, you know, I always have a new folder on my computer, you know, say, okay, ideas starting at maybe at the beginning of 2016. Because, you know, regularly, when I write a record, when a record is done, let's say Game of Sins, I delete all the other ideas which I haven't used because I thought the majority of it was shit, you know.
Right.
So I put it in the trash can. So I'm always starting from scratch, you know. I'm starting right now. So what I'm doing at the moment, I have a folder in my computer saying ideas starting at the beginning of 2016. Now we have 2017, but all the ideas apart from the ballad ones, you know, they will be on the next record. So.
Okay, excellent. Now, given your ability, Axel, to write and especially to arrange songs in a different way, and a lot of that with the ballads as well, have you ever thought about, or do you consult or write for other people or movies or something like that? It almost seems like that might be the next logical avenue for you.
That's right, but I can't take care of myself about that matter, you know. So I think that's a kind of part of my publishing company, you know. I'm on Universal Music, and they have to take care of it, you know. But it never happened so far. So I think there's a lot of. You must be a very lucky guy if someone picks you for a movie or something. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it definitely it definitely has to, somehow your music just sort of has to hit the right ear at the right time, I guess.
That's right, exactly.
Sure. Now, Axel, one of the things about your band, about the Axel Rudi Pell band, is you guys quite literally, and I think this goes all the way back to when you were in Steeler, way back. You know, you are one of the most prolific writers out there. It seems like there's a record every 18 months to 2 years. You guys put out a record, and that has not changed literally since 1984 or 5 or whenever Steeler originally came out. What is it about you that you just are able to... You know, anybody can churn out 10 songs, but not anybody can consistently churn out 10 solid songs. And, you know, as a fan of yours, there's really not too many clunkers out of 20 albums or however many there are.
Right, yes. You know, I can because I'm a genius. I don't know, sometimes the magic is in the air, you know, just like I told you, I have so many little snippets of ideas, but, you know, I tell you the truth, 85% of that is shit, you know, so it's a waste of time, but there's a lot of other ideas which I really love and say, whoa, this is really cool after listening back and forth, you know, so I know sometimes it's just the right thing at the right time, getting the idea for the right thing, yes.
Sure. Now you've also, it's hard to believe, but you've been working with Johnny now for 20 years. I'm
19.
Well, I mean, it's going that way. I mean, it's 2 decades almost with Johnny.
Right.
What have you learned about him as not only a vocalist but as a musician that has actually let the band develop? Because the band does sound different now from the first stuff that you did with Johnny.
Oh yeah, just a little. That's right. You know, I think I made a major progress on songwriting. You know, I think this songwriting I'm doing at the moment is more mature. You know, it's more like it's better with like wine. You know, the older it is, the better it is. So I don't know. I don't know. So let's talk about Johnny, because you know when I actually wrote the tracks for the very first record we did with Johnny, I didn't know who will be on the record, who will sing on the record. So sometimes I wrote in a different key. You say it after the recording, you say, oh, maybe it's a good idea for the next album. I love this key, I can't sing or I can't do it in this key, so, and I kept it in my mind. So that's one little thing about it.
Sure, definitely. Well, Axel, what's next for Axel Rudi Pell? When can we expect another record and, and a tour and et cetera, et cetera?
I'm still working on collecting these little snippets. At the moment, I have so much to do with interviews and stuff, doing some promotion stuff.
Sure.
We had some TV advertising spots in German TV right now, which will start very soon. I have a lot of interviews to do about the Ballads V. And when this is over, I will concentrate on putting these little snippets together, and we'll definitely hit the studio during this year, sometime not before September or October. So the next record will be out. I hope that it will be out between end of January and beginning of April next year, somewhere in that,
Excellent.
Date somewhere.
Well, for now, Axel, people can definitely go out and get Ballads V. It is brand new stuff from Axel Rudi Pell. It is fantastic, if I may say so. And Axel, as a tradition on the show, we always let the artist pick a closing track from the new record and maybe tell us a story about it. So what would you like us to wrap this interview up with?
I think maybe it's a good idea to play the live version of the Lion, because it was amongst the fans, it was the most popular ballad we did to this point. And on the last tour, we played it for the first time ever. We played it live. The original track is for Masquerade Ball, but as far as I remember, yes, for Masquerade Ball. So, but this really, it shows her I don't know, I really love it.
All right, well, let's check it out right now. This is brand new Axel Rudi Pell right here on your Classic Metal Show.